So, you're gonna go to Erie, Pennsylvania on the Great Lakes to catch you a big, migrating rainbow trout steelhead. Well, stick around, I've got everything you need. I'm Pastor Ron, and all my videos help kids and families do all kinds of things. And one of the things that we do in our videos is help parents with their kids to fish. And a common question that I like to see in here is, hey, Pastor Ron, I want to get my kid on a big one, a really big one. So, hey, everything you're going to see here is information that you can use as a fisherman or as a parent who's taking your kid to get on some chrome. That's right, chrome. So, let's begin with the basics. The basics. The first thing you're going to want to do is map out your trip. That's right, map it out. We need to figure out a few things before you actually leave your house. Like, where are you going to go? How far does it take to get there? Is it a 1 hour trip to get to Erie? A 2 hour trip to get to Erie? A 6 hour trip? Because, if it's a 6 hour trip to get there, you're going to need some place to sleep. And then 6 hours back. And you're not going to want to travel 12 hours to only fish 1 hour. That's no fun, right? So when I go, it's about a 2 hour drive. And there and back, it's 4 hours. I'm planning on fishing for at least 4 hours or more to make it worth my time. So you need to map out your trip in terms of how long you're going to drive versus how long you're going to fish to make it worth your time. Secondly, you're going to want to figure out all the stops that you're going to want to make because there are several places you can stop in order to fish. Some of the common ones in Erie, PA are the miles. I think there's 16 mile, 20 mile, a million mile. I don't know. We have the miles. Then we have Walnut Creek, right? That's a pretty common one. Then there's Trout Run. And you have to be very, very careful on where you fish that, but there are places you can fish that. And then there's Elk Creek. That's pretty popular too. Those are the four main ones that everyone knows all about that fishes steelhead in Erie. And if you want a fifth one, you can go 15 minutes farther towards Ohio. You're actually in Ohio. Boom. And you can do Conneaut Creek. So then, in order to fish these locations, you need to make sure you check the fishing rules and regulations. Make sure where you're allowed to fish, where the parking access is, how you're going to get to that spot, and honoring all the signs that say private property versus fishing property and so forth. Okay, yeah, that's a big deal. Because if you show up not knowing where to fish, you're probably going to spend a lot of time looking rather than catching. You know what I'm saying? And you and your partner, your little partner, and your kid, you're going to want to get some fish on, right? So then the next thing you want to do is figure out where all the tackle shops are. There's quite a few. I'm not going to name them all. But the one that is pretty popular and famous is called Poor Richard's. You're going to want to look that one up and go to Poor Richard's. I recommend them. Check them out. So that's just all the mapping out of where you're going to go, how long it takes to get there, and making your stops. Now we need to do some research. Research is a big deal because you can't just show up and expect to have fish on. Because if you're traveling from Pittsburgh on a sunny day and you get there 2 hours north and it's not a sunny day, that could be a problem. So here's what I do in the order that I do it. The first thing I do before traveling to Erie to catch me some fish is check my weather app. Check it. Is it raining in Erie? Is it sunny in Erie? When was the last time it rained in Erie? Is it going to be warm in Erie? Is it going to be really cold in Erie? Is it going to be like negative degrees? Has it been negative degrees for the last 5 days? These are big questions because it affects the temperature of the water, the height of the water, the flow of the water, the actual like if it's frozen water or not water anymore, right? And those things matter. Check your weather. Do you want to fish in that kind of weather or after that kind of weather? Typically, when it rains really, really, really big, there's going to be lots of water that goes from up here into the creek, and then it flows And if it gets too high, you cannot fish that. It's bad. You don't want that, right? So the second thing I check is called the USGS water data stuff, right? Here's an app down in the link. Click that app. A lot of the locals and the regulars, they look for the Girard site. Girard. It does not cover everywhere in Erie, but if you read the Girard one, you're going to have a pretty good sense that the water is fishable. Now, here's what you're going to look for. You're going to look for the flow. The flow needs to be between 7 and 11 for it to be really good fishing. Like, if it's 7 and 11, it's practically perfect. You go any lower than 7, it starts to get clearer, slower, and calmer. That's really good for kids, especially if you're still above 5. Right around 5 and lower, it's so clear you can see through everything. I mean, everything. And the problem with that is if you see the fish can see you, and you've got to be super stealthy. Sometimes the water is almost still. So, man, you got to kind of decide if you want to fish in still water. It can be harder, especially if you have kids. And then if it's above 11, it just means it's going to get hard. The water is going to be more flowy, more moving, and maybe even higher. And you can handle up to even 18. But right around 18, 19, it starts to get really dark, really rushy, and it might not even be worth my time. If you're a local, you're only going an hour drive, 30-minute drive, hey, go for it. But I'm not going to travel 2 hours there to look at lots of flow and be like, I'm out. I want my trip to be worth my time. So I aim from anywhere between 7 to 11 to be like, yeah, this is going to be a good trip. I'll work with 5 to 18 to make it happen, right? So, and if you have little ones with you, you want a successful trip, these numbers matter. So check the USGS data site to figure out the flow of the water, the height of the water, and if it's safe for you and your kid to fish on, right? Or if it's going to be an enjoyable, favorable experience. All right, then you're going to have to remember if you have your fishing license. Make sure you have your trout stamp and your Erie stamp. You need them both. If your kid, right now, you have to be age 16. If your kid is 16 or older, make sure he has his. And right now, you just need a digital access to it. I've been on the water, and the guy came up and was like, can I see it? And I pulled up my phone. I was like, boom. And he took all his binoculars from across the street, right? And he was like, all right, you're good. You don't need the actual thing anymore. But if you want that, make sure you have that. So these are important things to research, because you don't want to just show up trying to catch steelhead and then be like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble. You don't want that. No way. And then what I do is I go onto Facebook, right? There's a whole group dedicated to Erie steelhead. Link is in the description below. Hit it. Smash it, right? You're going to find people making comments about everything and all kinds of things and whatever, right? What you want to look for, though, is what are people hitting on? Are the fish hitting the eggs? Are the fish hitting the emerald shiners? Are the fish hitting the worms? Are they hitting the bugs? Are they hitting the top? Are they not hitting at all? Where are they hitting? The list goes on. The reality is they're fish. They're hungry fish trying to move through the stream so that they can spawn, and then at the end of the 8 months, they go back to the water. They all have to eat. They're all predatorial, and they all love food, right? So, although it's true they will eat pretty much anything, there are some days I've been out there, and I'm like, the egg is not working, guys. Fix this. The streamer for the emerald shiner is not working. The worm is not working, right? The grub is not working. Nothing's working. And then finally I get to like a bug pattern, like a stonefly, for example, and fish on, like every cast. This has happened to me. And make sure you bring plenty of options, because you don't know what's going to be hitting until it's there. And truth of the fact is no matter what you put on, make sure it's low. Like, if the bobber's here and you're 6 inches down and your bait's there, that's not low. You need it if the water's here and the ground's way down here. Down here is where you want to go. You want to hit the ground where there's lots and lots of rigs, and lots of presentations. My theory is if you're not low where the fish are, you don't have much of a chance. So get low. You're probably not low enough. Get lower. No. Lower. That's what I always say. Just get low. You're going to have more chances that way. And if you're still not hitting fish, it's probably because they're stressed out. I mean, this is part of the research. What day of the year is it? Like, that's another topic. What time of the year is it? If it's like, if it is the beginning of fall season, September, October, every fisherman is like, let's go catch some chrome, right? And you are not going to catch many fish because every fish has been caught, every fish is stressed, every fish has seen everything, and your best chances of catching a fish is going to be with perfect presentation or at the mouth where the fresh ones are coming in and they've not seen anything or they're really hungry. But if you show up like on like the week of deer season and all of a sudden there's no fishermen because they've all decided to go hunt deer, that's great because you can be the only one on the water because it's going to be cold anyways, and a lot of the not so great fishermen are going to be like, oh, it's too cold. So the serious diehard trout fishermen, they're going to be in the water when it's practically snowing, and that's going to be good because now the fish are like having a little bit of rest or less stressed. And then you have to consider if you park at the parking spot, walk to the water, well, that spot's going to be heavily pressured because old people that can't walk far and people that don't want to walk far and big guys that can't walk on rocks, that's an issue. Versus if you walk the extra 2-3 runs or half mile, quarter mile, whole mile away from the parking spot, those fish are more likely to take your bait. Okay? So looking at where you are in the time of year as well as where you are in the actual creek affects a lot of stuff. But narrow it down to the weather app, the USGS app, and the baits, right, on Facebook. People are going to tell you, it's hidden. All right, so then you're going to want to figure out what style of fishing you want to do. Yeah, because if you plan a fish with your kid or with your friend, you got to decide what style. Because you could be standing in Lake Erie at the mouth, yeeting a Rapala or a streamer or whatever, and reeling it in and fish on, right? Or you could be standing at the wall in Walnut where you need a giant net and fish on. Or you're going to be standing in the creeks and whatnot. Regardless, what you need to understand about the fish is that they are migrating in for a reason. They're in to do their thing. They're not there to hide from the bad guys or other big fish. They're there to spawn, right? And through that process, they get hungry. And through that process, they don't want other fish eating their, eggs. So they are there to do their thing and then migrate out in 8 months. And the cool thing about the trout, the steelhead, is that they're in and moving around all 8 months. They're not coming in, staying there for 8 months. They're up and down some more, back. They've had full research done where they've tagged the fish and they've watched them on a computer go up and down the system multiple times, all over, all for the 8 months. And they're there. And they might leave early, they might not, doesn't matter. There's going to be fish in the system for 8 months. That's going to be awesome. Do it. Catch fish on. And it is said that they will travel about 7 miles a day. So when you go back to talking about the time of the year, well, if it hasn't rained in quite a while and that water is low, the fish cannot get over the humps and the cracks and the falls and the big rocks. They're literally stuck at the beginning of the mouth. But as it rains and the water rises, now the fish can go and move up the system all the way to the McKean, Pennsylvania area, right? So that affects decisions you got to make. That is everything you need to do to plan a successful trip to catch some steelhead. But what if you have kids? What do you do about the kids? That's a big question. Let's talk about the kids because I have a kid, I'm a kids pastor, and that's what I specialize in. And so when you bring your kid, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to have two rods, and they're identical. Your rod has to be identical to his rod. The exact same setup, the exact same split shot, the exact same lure, Everything's got to be identical. You can't give your kid the cheapo setup where they catch a fish and then it breaks off, or you're catching 16 fish and they're catching none because their presentation's different. It's got to be exactly the same. Secondly, you give them the rod first. You put your rod on the ground or on the tree or to the side. Don't you fish. No. You're a dad today or a mom today. You're not a fisherman today. If you're bringing your kid to help them become a fisherman like you, trust me, you have to give up your fisherman goals for the day and man up to be a dad for the day. Give your kid the rod. He's got to catch the first fish. He's got to. Or at least got to be the first one to say, Dad, you try. It's your turn. Go for it. Then, if you do it and you hook up, you either need to play dumb and be like, oh, hey, I'm tired. You try. And then the fish is on. He's like, oh, Dad, I got him already. Ah! Or, oh, bro, I got one. I need help. It's so big. I need help. And you give it to them, and then you let them reel it in. They've got to do the work. They've got to do the experience. They've got to be like, oh, let him lose it. Be okay. But, oh, man, that fish was so big that he ripped off the lure. Oh, man. These kids are going to be like, what? This is not a bluegill. And so they've got to experience it, and they've got to like own it, and you've got to be a parent before you're a fisherman. And if you don't do this right, they will either not enjoy fishing or they will not enjoy fishing with you. And both of those are a problem. So then let's say you guys are catching several fish. He's caught fish and fish. Now it needs to be a team thing. All right. Now you're going to create a bond. You're going to create a relationship. Oh, bro, I got one. I'm getting him in, son. Look at this. Everything's got to be exciting, over-exaggerated, kind of like YouTube. Normally when I talk like this. This is my normal level in a meeting with friends. But on YouTube, I add a little bit more so that you guys are paying attention to what I got to say. And fish is on, right? And the kid is watching you. He's like, oh, bro, I need help. You got to use the words he uses. My son likes to say bro a lot. I don't know why. It's bro, grab the net. I need a net, man. And he gets it. He nets it. Like, yeah, give him fist bump, hug him, take a picture with, big picture with the kid. Like, kids love that. Eat it up. All right, the next thing you want to do is plan some breaks. You're not going to want to fish 6, 7, 8, 10 the whole day. I can do that. I can stay on the water the entire day and fish on. You're not going to want to do that with your kid. About 90 minutes to 2 hours, you need to stop, move, get in the car, go somewhere else. It could be McDonald's. It could be to the bait shop. It could be to another fishing spot. What I like to do is take my kid to Trout Run. What? Fish. Bait shop and another run, right? So that by the time we've fished, we've hit 4 different spots. First creek, Trout Run just to see the trout, the bait shop, and then the second run, the second creek, different location. That's what I do with my kid, and we love it. He's always asking, can we take a big trip to go fishing again, Dad? I want to get a big one, right? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. But you got to plan that into your time. The kids cannot stand there in the same spot for 8 hours at a time. And then when you are there for the 2 hours or the 90 minutes, they need to know, hey boy, we're here to fish. We're not here to catch. Help them understand that before you start. We might be here for the 90 minutes, 2 hours, and we might see the fish, but we might not be able to catch them. And we're okay with that because we're fishermen, not catchermen. Right? And once they process that fact, they should be good. But at some point, they're going to be tired. They're going to be like, oh, my line's tangling, or I'm not catching, or I'm tired of catching leaves, and I'm a kid, the list goes on, blah, 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 yada, yada. Right now, you've got your little itty-bitty pack that you've packed for them. You need a pack just for them. It needs to have like their video game system, some cards, some toys, or shovels. I took my kid one time, and all I had was a shovel. And he played in the sand while I fished for an hour by myself. I was in front of him, just doing this, nothing exciting, and he was happy playing with the rocks and the sand. And then when he was like, is it Dad, can I try again? And I was like, here you go, dude. You have to make it a positive experience for them. Forcing them to fish is not positive. So, and then in that pack, you're going to want extra clothes because at some point your kid's going to get wet. It's either their arms, their legs, or their entire body, or maybe they're not going to tell you that I got to pee and I think my waders are going to keep me dry. That's happened before. You need to bring the entire new outfit of dry clothes, maybe even 2 of some of the items, like underwear. And lastly, pack a bunch of snacks, food, drinks, whatever. Just, oh, dude, I got me a string cheese. You want some, right? And keep their tummies full, keep their eyes on things, keep their minds engaged, and keep them smiling. And this will make an awesome experience for you and your little one. So, boom, there's everything you need to know to go on a big fishing trip to Erie, PA with your friend or little one. If you have any questions, type in the comments. I'm happy to help. I go all the time, like at least 10 times a year. So hit me up. Push the buttons that you're supposed to push because it's YouTube. Until next time, everybody say bye, best of one.